This is CNN, home of fake news.
And our politics lead, a party for the Trump party. Today, the conference that takes the temperature on the future of the GOP's activist base featured a golden Trump statue, fiery speeches from Trump lackeys, and repetition of the big lie about the election. And as Senator Ted Cruz put it,
Donald J. Trump ain't going anywhere.
CNN's Jim Acosta was on the ground at CPAC today, where former President Trump is expected to resurrect his false claims in his headline speech this weekend, his first since leaving office, and he filed this report.
Look around this year's Conservative Political Action Conference, and it's clear much of the Republican Party still sees Donald Trump as something of a golden goose that will lead the GOP back to the White House. Despite Trump's role in the bloody siege at the Capitol on January 6th,
if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Trump said that he wanted his supporters to peacefully and patriotically make our voices heard.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
No thinking person could seriously believe that the president's January 6th speech on the ellipse was in any way an incitement to violence or insurrection.
What part of peacefully and patriotically don't you understand?
CPAC's chief organizer Matt Schlapp handed the former president a prime speaking slot, closing out the conference Sunday.
I like the fact that he wants to stay engaged. Now, you can say that he lost the election, but his supporters, 73 million.
Well, he did lose the election.
You can say that he lost the election, and
he did lose the election.
Yeah, but I'm not quibbling that.
But Schlapp insists Trump shouldn't be held responsible for the deadly insurrection.
He gave a speech, and then there was a violent insurrection at the Capitol. How is that not true?
You simply don't know what you're talking about.
But let me ask you this. He gave a speech that led to a violent insurrection at the Capitol. Shouldn't he just...
Now, I'm going to allow you to say that, but it's not true.
Isn't that true?
I'm going to allow you to say that.
He gave a speech, and then there was a violent insurrection at the Capitol. How is that not true?
You simply don't know what you're talking about.
How is that? What do you mean?
Well, you should look at the timeline of when things happen. But if you believe somebody used inappropriate words to spur violence, and you can't come up with the words, then you're making stuff up. And you should stop doing that. You can't make up... You can't say there was some intent in someone's brain that they never said in words, and that resulted in some kind of violence. Give me the words, and then I have to deal with the fact that maybe somebody I like did something that I don't agree with. When you make it up, give me one word they said.
Let me ask you one last final question.
One single word.
Let me ask you one last final question.
Can you give me one word?
Isn't this the big lie conference?
That's what the Nazis used to say, Jim, you're better than that. You're better than that.
You're comparing
me to it.
No, I'm not. I'm saying this is the big lie conference.
The big lie is your beliefs.
After our interview, some CPAC attendees became irate, many of them refusing to believe Trump incited any violence.
Thanks, Matt.
Do you feel responsible at all for the lies you told about the BLM riots?
Have a nice day.
You don't feel responsible?
In Georgia, I was investigating, and I know.
Why aren't you double masking? Why aren't you social distancing, Jim? CNN sucks. CNN sucks. Can you disavow the BLM riots? Jim, will you disavow the riots and the murdering that BLM did?
Violence, for sure. No.
On BLM side.
I'm so sorry. We really
don't touch me.
I'm so sorry.
Don't touch me, though. Don't touch me. Specifically, disavow BLM riots.
We really.
I see you got a big fan. Do you still believe that Donald Trump won the election?
Yes.
And still believing his big lie that he won the election. A falsehood the former president is expected to repeat this weekend. Trump's presence is overshadowing the other presidential wannabes at the conference.
And we should note there are sessions at this conference dedicated to advancing Trump's big lie that he won the election. We should also note that Senator Josh Hawley was defending his role and his attempts to overturn the election results. He got a standing ovation for that.
You know, on January the 6th, I objected during the Electoral College certification. Maybe you heard about it. I did. I stood up. So I did what, by the way, I did what our Democrat friends, my Democrat colleagues, have done in every single election where a Republican president has won for the last 20 years. Do you know they've objected to 11 different states in certifications over the last 25 years, 3 different presidential elections? So I did that, and I said I want to have a debate on election integrity. And what was the result of that? Oh, you know what the result was. I was called a traitor. I was called a seditionist. The radical left said I should be resigned, and if I wouldn't resign, I should be expelled from the United States Senate. Well, as I said a moment ago, I'm not going anywhere.
And there was some COVID denialism going on at the CPAC this year, Jake. At one point, the organizers urged the audience to remember to put on their masks. Because they did that, some in the crowd actually booed those organizers for just trying to practice some COVID safety. Jake?
I hope you're triple maxing, Jim. Masking, rather. Triple masking. Okay.
I hope you're triple masking, rather. Triple masking.
Once upon a time, CNN had many viewers, now do they CNN? Lost those viewers when big lies for something like Metro. Children at the end of the day, CNN sucks.
CNN sucks! CNN sucks! I want to point out, too, Jim is not serious about this. He sits on CNN and he peddles all this stuff about coronavirus and wearing masks. If he thought it was serious, he wouldn't be here right now. He's not even wearing 2 masks. I'm just pointing it out. He's not double masking.
I hope you're triple masking, rather. Triple masking. Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. Jim Acosta in Orlando, thank you so much. I hope you're triple masking. Masking. Okay.
Absolutely.
CNN sucks!
But they can make anything bad because they are the fake, disgusting news. I am your voice.
CNN's fact check of the first day of CPAC came in at 3,300 words. That's an entire book chapter. And it reflects the fact that some of the CPAC rhetoric is just straight up disinformation. Lies about the last election that stoke conspiracy theories and provide a pretext for voter suppression to try to stop people from voting next time.
Ever since this Russia collusion story first came up, the media has bent over backwards, going after every anonymous leak, every salacious story they could get their hands on to try to prove that the real reason Trump won the election was because he was colluding with Vladimir Putin.
But true versus false is not the only dividing line in the media. Stuff can be true, but practically irrelevant. Look, another dividing line would be serious versus unserious, significant versus silly, something that matters a lot versus something that matters only a little.
Democrats and their courtesans in the media cannot accept the fact that Donald Trump won a free and fair election, and there's got to be some other explanation for it, and they've latched onto this Russia story, and every time they trot out a new theory or a new leak or a new explosive document or piece of intelligence, it crumbles right away, and we've seen this throughout the past year.
Whatever happened to fair press? Whatever happened to honest reporting?